What's your name?
My name's Rodney McLean.
And tell me a little bit about where we're at right now.
We're in Grand Chenier, Louisiana, right on the Gulf Coast, about 2 miles from the beach. And we're actually between a little community of Creole and Grand Chenier, but post office calls us Grand Chenier.
And is this how you always live? Like
No,
this?
no.
This situation here with mud on the walls? And
Oh, no.
Tell me what happened.
My wife is, she likes to have everything nice and clean. Looks like we had a real bad party here, but that's not really it. It filled up with water, and water was 3 feet above the ceiling here on the second floor,
and that was
which is about 21 to 22 feet above sea level.
And what was the name of the hurricane that did
Hurricane Laura, and that was a storm surge that came in, and apparently we were at the apex of that surge, because if you go east and west, the surge marks are gradually going down.
Lower.
Yeah.
And how many days after it happened did you come back here?
It was about a week, about 7 days, because everything was underwater.
Right.
You couldn't get here without driving through water, and it was seawater.
You said the salt water's not good for a truck, right?
No.
How did it feel walking in here first time? Could you walk in here? Did you have to climb in, or what?
Actually, I came in through the garage. Doors were blown away, washed away, and the doors to the house were washed away. So I had to come in through the back, because the front door was undermined by the surge. It cut away the soil, and the porch floor is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in through the back door, and I had parked down about a mile down, left my wife there, and I walked through the water to here.
Oh, so the water was still up?
Yeah, I didn't want to drive through it.
Yeah.
But then after I saw what the damage was, I went back and got her and drove through it anyway.
You did?
Because she needed to see it.
What was her reaction?
Shock.
Yeah.
I mean, we expected some damage, but we didn't expect this much damage.
When did you build this house?
Built this house in 1974.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there was no elevation requirements, but the local authorities were planning. So we asked, what elevation should we build at to comply with future thing? And they said, well, we're thinking about 9 feet for the bottom floor, but it might be 11. So we put our bottom floor at 12, a little over 12 feet above sea level.
Just to be safe?
Yeah, just to be legal and safe. We thought it was safe, because we hadn't had a storm since 1957.
Is that right?
That did like this, like Rita. Rita came in 2005.
And then this one.
This
one was worse?
Oh, this one was
much worse.
Much worse than Rita. Yeah.
So there 40 years went by without a storm, and then you had two within the space of 10 years?
Yeah. Well, 15 years. Yeah. And then.
Any thoughts about why that is, or?
No, it's just nature.
I'm
a biologist, and I kind of look at things from my standpoint. It has nothing to do with man-made. To me, anyway, it doesn't have anything to do with man-made effect or anything. It's just
the luck of the
it's
draw.
just nature, and our coastline is eroding away, so we don't have that protection anymore.
And that's from man.
Yeah, that's from stopping all the silt and whatnot that used to come down the Mississippi and other rivers, and the current runs from east to west here, and it built up this coastline for centuries and centuries, but now it's going the other way, so we don't have that protective layer anymore. It used to be a really high beach out there that protected this area. Plus, there's a channel that's been cut at the bend in the river. The channel has been cut straight to the Gulf, and now it acts as a big funnel. When the water comes ahead of a storm, it really comes roaring up that channel. and spreads out over this area.
You said it used to be so built. There used to be so much beach out there that people would grow cotton and.
Oh yeah, it used to be farms. Yeah, there were quite a few families living out there farming cotton, citrus. Citrus used to be a pretty big crop down in this area, and it was shipped by boat northward.
There weren't any roads at that time, right?
No, back in those days, you traveled by boat. Yeah. You came from Lake Charles down the Calcasieu River by boat, or you came from Lake Arthur, Louisiana by boat. And during the 1930s, they began having some roads that were passable going north across the marsh. But this is a series of, they call them cheniers down here, which means oak ridge, but it's a series of old beach rims. The one 2 miles north of us, parallel to this one, at one time was the beach. And then there's an area of freshwater marsh for about 2 miles. And then we have this ridge that we're on now, this chenier. And it was the beach about 1,300 years ago. And then the current beach was formed since then about 3 miles out. But about a mile of it has washed away now.
Did you ever, when you built this house, did you expect, I mean, you knew there was a possibility this could happen.
Certainly,
right?
yeah.
You didn't expect it?
No, we didn't expect one as bad. In 1957, we had Hurricane Audrey, and almost 600 people drowned down here. They had been told by the Weather Bureau that the storm was coming, but they missed it by 1 day. The prediction was a day late.
So the people didn't leave on time?
A lot of people were ready to leave. They were packed up, some of them. Some of them weren't going to leave because they said, well, it's just another storm. Yeah. But some of them were going to leave. But the Weather Bureau missed it by a day. It came in a day earlier than they predicted.
And 600 people?
It came straight from the Yucatan, just straight north. Wow. And as I understand it, it was the impact of the water impacting the shoreline was recorded in Alaska on the seismograph equipment. That's what we've heard. I don't know where I've heard that, and I don't know whether that's
like a tsunami
authentic or not. Yeah, similar, something similar.
So what are you going to do here? I mean, when I drove by, you were here.
Well, right now, I'm cleaning up. I'm trying to dry the place out. It filled up with water and mud, and I'm trying to clean it up enough to where it'll dry out so we can see what's left and make a decision about what to do with it once we've talked to the insurance people and whatnot. I doubt that insurance will be available. The insurance adjuster that came for the flood part of it said that he didn't think it'd be available.
Going forward?
In the future, yeah. Even though our policy is still in force, he anticipates that the result is going to be no flood insurance down here.
Makes it hard to sell, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could. And my wife wouldn't want to sell it anyway because this is home. This is her land, and she doesn't want to sell the land. She might sell the house, but she wouldn't sell the land, and you can't. Yeah. That won't work. So.
She's spent her whole life around.
Yeah, she was born and reared here, and several generations of her family were.
I mean, I have to say, just sitting here for the short amount of time I have, it's an amazing feeling being here. Peaceful, fresh air. Yeah. You know, just it's a special place. I don't think I've ever been any place quite like it.
Under normal conditions, it's very nice. It really is. You have a sea breeze in the evenings, and of course nowadays we've gotten used to air conditioning in the summertime. We grew up without air conditioning, but now we can't do without it.
Well, it keeps the mosquitoes.
Yeah, it keeps the bugs out, the mosquitoes, and it's pretty pleasant. It's quiet normally. Yeah. And you know everyone down here. Everyone knows everyone else. That's good and bad, but mostly good. Right. Because if you need some help, there'll be someone that'll help you.
But is that have been affected by the storms and the hurricanes in the past? Have people left?
Yeah, people have decided not to come back either because of their age or they just wanted to live somewhere else. But one thing down here is the petroleum industry kind of supported. This was the main industry down here, the petroleum, along with trapping and seafood and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But primarily the petroleum industry employed everyone, and that's died. Most of the young ones who are from down here have jobs inland, Lake Charles or further up.
So they commute.
They don't live here.
Oh, okay.
They come down here for the hunting and the fishing.
And then they have
and maybe if the family has cattle, they come down to help work the cattle or that kind of thing. But
how far do you have to go to get groceries?
You have to go to Lake Charles primarily. We have a small grocery store down at Grand Chenier. T. May Booth has a store there. She's been there forever. And then there was another small store, and then there used to be a whole bunch of really small stores, kind of like a neighborhood thing,
right?
Back in the old days. But
Not
if you need to do real shopping, you drive the 40 miles into Lake Charles and do it there.
Are you, if you do rebuild this house, will you have to do the work yourself?
I'm getting a little bit old for some of what I've done before.
How old are you?
I'm 77,
mm-hmm.
But I'd try to do as much as I could, just because I like to know how it's done, and I don't particularly like the modern way of nail guns and that kind of thing. The way the particle board, nail guns, and sheetrock. To them, that's quality building, and to me, that's not.
Did you ever think you'd hear yourself say that you were getting too old to do something?
No. I'm still 25 on the inside.
Right.
It's just when I look in a mirror, and I go, where did that old geezer come from?
What?
I remember one of my dad's, when I was a teenager, one of my dad's friends turned 50. And I thought, gee whiz.
You couldn't believe it.
50, that's a half a century. How can anybody live to be a half a century? And of course, I was about 15 or 16 at the time.
Right.
So,
that's good.
But no, it's just another episode in life, I guess, that you may not want to go through, but sometimes you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone through some health issues and didn't really want to go through those either. And
well, you're pretty calm about it all.
Not really. Maybe on the outside, but not really on the
inside.
inside. I'm churning,
Yeah.
It's just eating away,
Yeah.
Because you don't know what to do right now. You kind of in limbo. You're waiting to hear from the people who have control over insurance and the policies of whether you can repair or not repair. That may come up as an issue too. The parish may decide, hey, we're not going to allow anybody to rebuild. Or after Rita, the policy was if you had more than 50% of your home left, more than likely they would allow you to rebuild or repair. But I don't know if that's going to be the issue now or not. Of course, we have quite a bit
more than that.
Yeah, we have quite a bit more than 50%, but still, it depends on what the policies are.
Well, how long do you think it'll be till you know what you're going to do?
Oh, it'll probably be several months, I would think. Right now, my plan anyway, is to get the place cleared out, emptied, or cleaned up enough to where it'll dry out, close in the windows, close in the garage, maybe get some new garage doors,
mm-hmm.
And then just sit back and take a long look at what we might be able to do with it. It's we put a lot of effort over the years. We've kind of done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, trying to improve it to make it a little more
nice.
Personable and our place. And it's kind of hard to see all that work blown away in one fell swoop, like they say.
I can't imagine.
But other people go through it. I mean, like. You folks up in New York there with the 9/11 thing, I can't imagine going through that. And I can't imagine earthquakes out west.
Yeah, fires.
The forest fires. Yeah. Of course, some of those people now, they're about like us. They build on an unlit bonfire out there in California, and then they're surprised that their houses burn up. Yeah. Well, we're not really that bad. We know something's going to happen, but we're just hoping that it doesn't for a while.
Yeah, it's definitely, you never know what's going to happen.
No.
But you do know if you build on 30 feet from the shoreline that something might happen.
Yeah. And I think about the people in Miami. Miami is about a foot above sea level. And there's just millions of people.
And they keep building high rises and $1 million condominiums.
I think my house has a great big magnet under it that attracts hurricanes. I think this whole area here is just one big hurricane magnet. So.
Well, how long are you going to stay today working? You getting ready to
I'll stay probably until about sunset, something like that.
Do you come down every day?
I have been, yeah. It's about a 60-mile drive down here from where I am, north of Lake Charles.
Right.
But I usually leave up there about 5:30 in the morning, and I get here about 7, something like that. And the sun's usually just coming up. I can start to see what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I'm about to the point where I can stop doing that maybe and come a little bit later in the morning.
That's good.
It's
Well, I appreciate you talking to me. I know you're busy and.
No, I don't mind stopping and talking to somebody. That's one of the things my wife talks about. When I first came down here and got to know her and her family and all, most of the people I got to know were the older people, the older generation, and those people are gone now. Mm-hmm. And to her, she said that sort of makes it it's not really like home used to be, what she remembers growing up and all. So her feelings have changed a little bit about that, but she's really attached to the house and the land.
Yeah.
But there's no people don't come by and sit on your porch and drink coffee with you anymore. There's no one down here to do that. So.
And most people are inside in the air conditioning.
Yeah, they sit in the air conditioning. Yeah, but it was a nice area, and hate to leave it if that's what we wind up doing.